Hello. I told you we was going to make the velveeta cheese, homemade, so that's what we're going to do. Right now I'm letting the water boil, and since we moved my pantry into another room, the bigger room, well, I can't find my little tiny mini foil pans. They're like bread pans. So I'm going to use these Tupperware things I have, the bowls. And I'm not going to use the lids. I'm just going to use the bowl itself. It's kind of difficult to get that down in there, but they'll be perfect. And I'll have the cheese in like that. So I'm doing two because I'm not sure how high I want them. So let me get this down in here. So I got up this morning. I was up with my husband till 3 o'clock in the morning. He ate too much cheese and chocolate. So, if you know what that does to you. So I stayed up with him because I was worried about him. So I'm just going to put that down in there. When I pour that in there, it'll go into place where it needs to be. So you just take whichever, like you could use the little foil things or wee little bread pans. But I'm going to use these because I can't find my other ones right now. And I'm waiting on the water to boil. And this recipe, good evening, Patricia. I found some instant non-fat milk. This was $9 at the store out here. But it said reduced $6, so I went ahead and got it. And you only use a little bit of it, but I thought about, since I'm going to have so much of it, they didn't have any smaller ones or anything, and they used to get them in the food pantries, but nobody's talked about, getting rid of any of it, so I got me some. And what I'll do with this is I'll make some hot chocolate. You can make some awesome hot chocolate with this. So it takes powdered milk and Knox unflavored gelatin and 16 ounces of cheese. I'm using mild and one sharp. And I'm going to try to do this in my Power Chef for Tupperware and see if it works. So we're all on this together. If it doesn't work, we'll have to go to something else. So you take 6 tablespoons of powdered milk, and I'll just go ahead and get that in this little bowl. 3, 4, 5, 6. It smells good. It smells like sort of like ice cream, maybe. It's not the package, it's actually the milk that smells so good. So there's 6 tablespoons of powdered milk we will have to use. And I'll just put my little containers over here for when we're ready for them. And I'm waiting on the water to get nice and boiling hot, because you have to have boiling water in it. And I'm not so sure this is going to work, but we're going to try it. I always like to try new things with my Tupperware. It's not going to hurt to try anyway. Whew, I smelt that sharp cheese. Wow. And your Knox Jello is not really that expensive. I thought, oh no, $2 and something. But it's got 4 packets in it. So that's not bad. You only use one. for the cheese. So if you got 4 packets and you only have to use 1, that's good news. Because the whole idea of making the cheese, sort of like, it's like Velveeta cheese, is so you don't have all the preservatives of the regular cheese that sits on the counters for months. And you know what you're getting in your cheese. That's the whole purpose of making it. But I still don't want to exceed the price that you can buy the other. So I'm not sure. Hi, glad you're watching. Well, Patricia, I got this at Campbell's Market in MacArthur, but it's out there. Why wasn't it? Why did you think they didn't have it? Was there a reason? But I looked and looked, and finally I looked up. You always find things when you look up. But I looked up and I found it. It was in a big case, and they had bunches of them. So I think my water's boiling, so I'm going to go get it real quick. Okay, I got it. And just so you know, the reason why it took me so long is because Miss Pamela spilt some. Known to do that. So, we'll get this over here. Let me get the water. Sorry. And this even has a spout on it, so there. I just a little bit under that. Okay, now so what you do is you take your, like I said, we're going to try to use this, and I'm going to put the 6 tablespoons of powdered milk. And the gelatin, which would be 1 of the packets, because there's got 4 in it. And I'll just kind of stir that a little bit. Okay. Now this was the boiling water. And I'm spilling it again. I've got a spout on this, and I don't understand why I'm spilling it. Okay. Take your time. That's what you need to do. Okay, so I'm going to mix that up a little bit. So we're halfway there. And I'm going to take the sharp cheese. That is 8 ounces, so you need 16 ounces. So I'm going to put some of this in there too. Get it in there. I used mild and sharp. Now at this point, you could put, let me get this started. At this point, you could probably get, put your any kind of peppers or jalapenos in it. And the reason why I didn't know if it was going to work or not is because I used electric the last time I did this. Electric can surely go quicker than me, but I wanted to try this in my Power Chef in Tupperware just to see what it does, because I've never seen anybody make any in it. It looks like it's doing pretty good. So how's everybody doing today? I hope you had a good Saturday. Like I said, I was up till 3 with my hubby. So I didn't get up till 8 this morning. And then as soon as I got up and got cleaned up, I got a call from a friend of mine. I used to take care of her all the time until I went to babysitting. And she told me she's at the emergency room at the hospital in Jackson. And she didn't have a way home. So I went in and told my husband, I said, darling, I'm going to have to go to Jackson. And I started singing, I'm going to Jackson. So I went and got her a, bless her heart, she had a urinary tract infection and a sinus infection, and she just wasn't, and she went in her nightgown. So I know she was cold. So anyway, I took her and went to the pharmacy and got her meds and took her to, I believe this is going to work. Yeah, I took her to Wendy's. Used to be, she's had a really, really, really rough life. So I don't say too much about what she needs. But I got her a Wendy's Frosty. She lost her husband about 16, let's see, almost 18 years ago. And he used to go get Wendy's Frosties for her every time she was sick. So I do it. You can do this in an electric mixer, but I need some workout here. And these little, in this Tupperware Power Chef, them little blades, they go around like either 100 or 1,000 times every time you go out. And you don't have to pull it way out. So I think it's going to work. So if there's any of you Tupperware people out there, try this and do live so your people can see it. Okay. So we done 2 8-ounce packages of sharp and mild cheddar. 2 of these 8 ounces, 6 tablespoons of this milk, dried milk, and 1 packet of Knox Original Unflavored Gelatin. That's it. And you take, and you just, now if I can do this without making a mess here, you take and just pour that, you put plastic, you want to put plastic around your little cake thing. This is not a cake thing, but I'm not sure how. I think I'll just go ahead and, I don't know if I want that filled up or not, that big and tall. Well, we're going to. Just going to do 1 here, because I can always cut it in half. And then you do, you know, after you put all that in, you put your boiling water in. I put my boiling water in the milk and Knox gelatin first, and then put the cheese in. So we'll have a nice, now I cannot show you this until tomorrow because you have to let it sit in the refrigerator overnight or 24 hours, so, because it'll set up and make like a Velveeta cheese. So just pack that down a little bit. I poured it in this size of thing, so I'll probably So that's all you got in it. You know what you've put in this now. When you go to the store, you look at all the ingredients under cheese and you're going to see a lot of ingredients. Let me see this. That's good. Now, with doing the Power Chef, I think I've got it all, you know, incorporated in there really good. But if I didn't, it's still going to be good. I mean, it's still going to be the same thing. But I wanted to try that. So what you're going to do is take that and put your plastic over it to where no air will hit it. And you just put that in the refrigerator all night. The next day, you'll pull that plastic out, or I'll come on and let you see it. But like I said, I wanted to try the Power Chef to see what it was going to do with this. But it depends on, you know, you can make all kinds of stuff with this. It melts very good. And while the cheese is on sale, this cheese was $1.59. So I had $1.59, $1.59, and that was 2 something, so that was probably 50 cents a packet. And then this milk, and I got lots of milk. I wish they'd have had the little tiny ones, but I'll go ahead and make some hot chocolate and stuff out of that milk. I'll keep some and put it in the freezer, just the dry powder, so that I'll have it if I want to make some more. Wanda, I am making homemade, like Velveeta cheese. And it's only got simple ingredients, and I wanted to use my Power Chef to see how it was going to do. And so we'll see the consistency of this when I get it done. And with me, even if it's not as smooth, which it looks like it's going to be, but if I didn't get it enough, it's still going to be great. And I'll use it for a lot of things. So a lot of people would say, what's the point? You know, what's the point of making it that way? The point is, you can make it this way, wrap it, and put it in your refrigerator. And if you need a grilled cheese, or you need it for soups or macaroni and cheese or anything, you've got it there, and you don't have to run to the store and pay $4 or $5 for a 2-pound thing of the Velveeta cheese, which has all the fillers and all that stuff in it. You see what's in this. This, and this. Plus, it's fun to make. And I'll probably put some beans on or something, and we'll have, I cut this up in little chunks, and sometimes we eat it that way. 1 cup of boiling water, 8 ounces. And after you put your 6 tablespoons of dry milk, and go ahead and add this, your gelatin, and unflavored. Then you put your hot milk in it, and you mix it just a tad bit, just so that's mixed up in there, like I did on my Power Chef. And then you put your 2 packs of 8 ounces each cheese. I went with 1 sharp and 1 mild. So that's what I went with. So I've got that made, and probably every time that cheese is on sale cheap, I'll probably just make some, so I'll have it in the refrigerator. So this was perfect to put this in. Tomorrow I'll take it out, and we'll see what we got. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I was going to try to go ahead and do it and then show you tomorrow how to do it, and I thought, nah, we got to put it in the refrigerator overnight. So 1 cup of boiling water that goes with that. Anyway, yeah, I went down to get a friend of ours down at the hospital. I felt bad. Hi, Carol. Because she doesn't have, like, the squad took her, but they wasn't going to bring her back. How's she going to get home? She called me. She said they released me. They're not keeping me. She had a bag. And I said, well, I'm getting ready to leave now. I'll be down there in a few minutes to get you. Time I got there, they had her out in the waiting room. And she kept telling me she was on the other side of the hospital, so I went over there and she wasn't there. I figured she was at the emergency room, waiting room. It was something else. But I've known her for years, and she's had a really, really rough life growing up. And the stories she told me is just... You wonder how people survive things. So, does anybody think they're going to try this recipe? So, this is an experiment with the Power Chef. And we'll see how this gels up and comes out. I done everything it said for me to do. I have made this before, but like I said, in electric mixer. You're going to make it, Wanda? That sounds neat. Are you going to do it in electric or Power Chef or... Because it looks... It's already starting to gel up a little bit. It tastes really good. It's going to be better when it gets gelled up and into that cheese block. Electric, that's good, Wanda. Because this just is an experiment with me with my Power Chef, because I try to make different things all the time in it to see how it does. So far, I haven't had any problems. But also, I've never seen anybody on the Tupperware shows do the Velveeta cheese. So if it works, it's going to be good for them. Good shape container. Do you have any of the little... They're little, like, banana bread foil, tin foil. Anything, really anything that you want to use, as long as it ain't great big, just use it. I mean, I even thought about using a bowl, but I didn't. I found these at the last minute, so I was going to do 2 of these, and I thought, no, I'll just fill it up. Loaf pans. Yeah, little tiny loaf pans. That's what they are. Glad you said that, because I could not think of what they was called. The first time I made this was probably 2 years ago, and I had a little glass loaf pan about that big, and I don't know what I did with it. I'd probably give it to somebody, but I used it and it turned out really good. So I'm excited about it. No, my plastic wrap was not greased. I didn't have to. I never greased it. And once you get it done, it's going to gel up like the Velveeta cheese, and then you're just going to lift that out and unwrap it. It's not going to stick or anything. And then just wrap it back up, you know, when you put it back in the refrigerator until you use it. But I think the Power Chef done pretty good with this, and I'll be able to use it for all kinds of things. It's got a good taste to it. I keep getting into it. You can see how it's starting to gel up already. The colder it gets, the better it is. So I just wanted to come on. I told you guys I had to get that extra ingredient. And I did. So now I'm hungry maybe tomorrow for some hot chocolate since I've got all this powdered milk. I looked up there and I thought, $9? Then it went down to $6. I didn't know powdered milk cost that much. I've never bought it. I think I bought a little tiny thing of it one time, or somebody gave me some, but I don't think I've ever bought it in a store. I wonder how many gallon that makes. It's a pound and 9.6 ounces. So it makes, oh wow. I wonder what, has anybody ever drank powdered milk? I was always afraid to. I didn't know it was so expensive, Wendy, or Wanda. I was floored. I thought I was going to buy this little $1 or $2 thing of powdered milk. Really. There's something else that I found a recipe one time that you use that, but I never used it because I never had it. But years ago, they used to give it out like in these containers. Like people would get them in the food pantry and they didn't want them. So I would take, not all of it, I mean, because I told them I couldn't use it all, but I would take some of it and I'd make up big jars of chocolate milk, not chocolate milk, but hot chocolate mix. And then I would put a little bag of little miniature marshmallows in a little jar beside it. And then we would have, when the grandkids come over, we made crock pot hot chocolate in the wintertime. They would come over and that's what I made. But boy, it's rich when you make the crock pot one, where you just cook it slowly in a crock pot. But this will make good hot chocolate. It takes that, cocoa, and sugar to make it. You could just put, I've got a cocoa jar up there. I might make some of that then. Anyway, it's good talking to all you guys. My mother drank Knox gelatin for her neck. You know what? My mom did too. She bought that Knox gelatin, but I think she dipped her hands down in it and drank it. But she always told us kids that, us girls, that it makes your fingernails strong. I've got pretty strong fingernails. I always keep mine short, but they're pretty strong. And I got to cut them a lot because they grow a lot. But my mom used it too, and I hadn't heard about it until a couple years ago when I made some of this. I didn't know they had it, but... And I do have a bread machine. I like to make bread once in a while, but mostly I just get it out and do it. I just do it, you know, play around with it and stuff. That's what I like to do. Yeah, that's true. We'll have hot cocoa and grilled cheese. I'll tell you, any day is a good day for grilled cheese and hot cocoa. And today, I didn't really have time to cook a lot of stuff. I was going to put you on live and tell you, hey, what's cooking today? I'm going to the hospital and picking up a friend. That's what's cooking today. And she went through Wendy's and asked me, she said, you get what you want. And I said, I really don't want anything. I said, we'll get you a chocolate frosty. And then I really don't want anything. I said, I'm not really that hungry anyway. And I ate a peanut butter sandwich this morning before I left to go get her. So I wasn't hungry. With all that food, you think I'd have ate something else. But I did make her some, I made the lady some chocolate fudge. and my husband was at the table. So this chair is going to get away with me. Now that's funny, isn't it? The chair likes to get away with me. But this here, she was wanting some chocolate fudge, so he was at the table, and I just hurried up and got my my Tupperware stack cooker bowl that's you can put in a microwave oven safely. Yeah, I wouldn't have wanted her, Amy, to go home, not have a way home. She's in her nightgown. She wasn't feeling good. It was just a horrible day for her. I took her in and sat her down, and I took her hands and prayed for her, and I hated to walk away and leave, but I had to because I had my husband over here that I was up with for till 3 o'clock in the morning. But he's better now. But my grandson, he sounds all stuffed up. But while my husband was sitting at the table, I grabbed that stack cooker bowl that's Tupperware safe, and I put a can of sweetened condensed milk. I put a tablespoon of not hot cocoa, just cocoa powder, and I put it in the microwave for a minute, and then I took it back out and I put 3 cups of chocolate chips and a half a stick of butter, and I put it back in the microwave for a minute, and I took it back out and stirred it up, and voila, we had chocolate fudge. And it's hard, you know, it's just like fudge, and it's going to taste good. Now, it doesn't call for the butter or anything like that, but I always put that little added extra in it, and I didn't put any vanilla because the sweetened condensed milk I felt had vanilla enough in it. So this is going to be really good for her. So I'm not even going to cut it until I get there, take it to her. But that was easy. I done it. He looked at me, said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm done. I'm already done." He said, "Do you need the table?" I said, "No, I'm already done." So I'll take that over to her. Yeah, they discharged her in her nightgown. Poor thing. I went in there, and she's 75, I think. And the older she gets, her body just isn't working. She's in a lift chair most of the time. She sleeps in it. She goes to the bathroom and then back to it, you know, and she'll put something in the crock pot, or they bring her meals to her on the weekdays, but they're not that, well, we won't go into that. But anyway, yeah, and they had her sitting down there. They just took her out there and left her. She was just sitting there in her little sock hat, and, well, she's big as me or bigger. She had her sock hat on and her coat and her big old nightgown. And I asked her if she could walk out, so I took her to the very last door. My car was only like 5 feet away from the emergency door. So we got her in, or I got her in there. She finally got in. And to top it off, I drive a Buick Enclave SUV. So it has 18-inch tires on it. So she's short, and she has a struggle. I told her, I said, hold on to that handle and scoot your butt in there and then turn your legs around, and she got in okay. Is there powdered vanilla that would help the powdered milk flavor? I don't know. Could be, but this really smells good for some reason. I've never smelled powdered milk smells this good. I could just sit and smell that all night. It's got a distinctive vanilla-like smell to it. Its best choice is the brand. I don't know. I might just put it in the freezer. It should keep in the freezer maybe till I can't use all that in just a week. in a cocoa mix. Yeah, that's what I remember Amy it smelling like. But this don't. It smells pretty good. I thought, I'd like for my whole house to smell like that. It's just like a vanilla-y ice cream. That's what it smells like a vanilla ice cream flavor is what it smells like. But the ones I used to smell, they smell, I can't really say it without that thing in my throat. Plasticky, yeah. So I'll try it with the make some cocoa, and we'll let you know how this turns out tomorrow. It'll probably have a few creases, and as you can see where I put the plastic in and didn't get it real straight, but that's okay. One of these days, maybe. One of these days. But anyway, I'm going to call her here in a little bit and see how she's doing over there. And I'll probably take her some cheesy potatoes tomorrow and some of that macaroni salad and whatever. Take over to her. I got this big pork roast out of the freezer. It's about that long, and I don't even hardly ever fix pork, ever. So I'm going to try to find a recipe that will make it good. List your fudge recipe. Okay, I do have a video on my profile. It's down toward Christmas time of making this very fudge right here. I got a video of me doing it, and I think I posted the recipe, but I'll bump it up so you guys can see it, and I'll put the recipe on there because it's really, really simple. Yeah, I had to go down on my profile, keep scrolling down to find it, and I finally found it, you know, where I made the chocolate fudge, and then I finally put chocolate fudge on it so everybody knew what it was. So, and I've made all kinds of different stuff on the profile pictures and on YouTube. So if you like this, give me some love and thumbs up, and share it on YouTube. I think it's under Pammy's Pantry Perfections, Pamela McManus. And there's a whole bunch of them on there. I mean, you can go way down and find the gluten-free, what do you call them, yellow potatoes. Yukon Gold crusted pizza I made in the microwave skillet. It was really good because my granddaughter, one of them's gluten-free, so I made up a gluten-free pizza that she could eat because she loves potatoes. So I thought, well, we'll just make a potato crust then. But yeah, there's a lot on there. So it's good seeing you all, and we'll see what else we can come up with. I got to think of something for that pork loin. I'm not even sure it will get eat if I make it, because we don't eat a lot of that. Nothing religious or anything like that about it. It's just, I don't like the idea that it sits in your stomach 3-4 days before it digests. That's the only thing I don't like about it. I'm a pretty big person now, and knowing that sits in there that long bothers me. So I may just, I don't know, I might have to call my son-in-law up and say, here, you want pork loin? Because he's got a big smoker. He makes it all the time. Well, hi, Colette. How are you? We're just talking about all kinds of things this evening. My husband went to bed. He'll go to bed until about 11 or 12, and then he'll get up and read the Bible or something. So we made some homemade Velveeta cheese, and this is the only container I could find to put it in. So actually what this thing is, it's a Tupperware It has a lid and a dial on top. Like if you put your stuff down in there to keep it, it has a dial how long you can keep that before it spoils. But the lids are in there. I'm just going to use it for this. So that was my story today, that I went to the hospital down there to get married. I felt really bad for her. I did. I went in to get her medicine, and they said, well, she said, just have them deliver it Monday. I said, no, Mary, you need it today. You've got the problem today, and you'll get worse by Monday. So I just went in and asked them if they could, I said, I don't want to be rude or anything like that, but she just got out of the emergency room. Could you please, step up a little bit on her order? And they did. They did. It's only 5 o'clock. Yeah, it is 5 o'clock in California. I forgot about that. Some memories popped up on my Facebook because last 2 years ago, I was in California, and the memories popped up where the Uber driver was taking us down the ocean way where the St. Mary's big ship is. He was taking us home to our motel after I had to go to LA. And I was videoing all that ocean all the way down through there. And it popped up, and I thought, wow, I'd like to go back to California again. But, yeah, I'm not a big fan of pork either. Maybe 20, 30 years ago, I'd ate pork chops or something every day, but when I found out how long it sits in your stomach, it just turned me off right now, because I don't want to walk around for 3 or 4 days and have that digesting in there. So, yeah, I'll probably try to find something to do with it, because my husband, I don't think he likes so much pork anymore either. So, I'll just leave it in the freezer and see what we can get, see who can do it. 7 in Texas. It's 10 after 8 here. Oh, really? Well, I went there, and I had a video pop up, the walkway with all the little shops in it. I was in the one where of course, I was in the one with all the candy, because I'm a fudge maker. So I told my friend, I said, Valentine's Day's coming up. And back then, I think it was that Friday on Valentine's Day is when I was there, actually, in that candy shop. And I bought me some candy to eat, because my sweetheart was not with me. We were thousands of miles away. So I bought me some stuff in that candy shop. And man, was it nice in there. I probably could have spent $50 in there, but I didn't. I kept it to a minimum. I got my friend some that came with me, and me some. I said, we're going to celebrate Valentine's Day. So that's what we did. Eek, what are you saying eek for, Amy? You don't like pork either? Anyway, it was kind of fun going down through the ocean. And the Uber driver told me, he said, I'm going to take you down along the ocean and drive you home that way to the motel. He said, because you act like you're stressed out. I said, we've had a terrible, stressful day. We had to go to LA and go into these buildings. And actually that day, this is another little story. Think of me when you go in there, Colette. My sister passed away, and I didn't know it. I hadn't heard from her. We was calling on the phone, and I hadn't heard from her. I thought, well, she's probably just busy. Well, I got a call from the apartment manager. She lived in Long Beach, and he said, I'm sorry to hear about your sister, and we need to know what to do with her stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, "I'm sorry, ma'am." He said, "Your sister passed." I said, "Well, nobody told me or called me or anything. My mom didn't even know she passed." And she was a Navy veteran, and she got hurt, and she wasn't able to do much. But she was big like me, and as she got sick, she had breast cancer, and she just put on the weight. But so I thought, what am I going to do? Because none of my family could go, and my mom, I mean, she didn't even know it. I've had to tell her. So I went down there. That's how I got into California, Colette. And we took flight down, and we were there for, I think, 11 days. And I had every day I had to do something. Well, by the time I got there and had heard about her and got there as quick as I could, she had been in the morgue frozen for a month. Because the week I heard about it, I went. I booked a flight and went. Thank God my friend went with me. And we went down there, and I thought, this is not right. She left a note, and I got the note still in my pocketbook. She said, if anything happens to me, get a hold of my sister Pam, and gave my address and number. So that's how they got a hold of me, is they found that. And we went up there, and we went to L.A. It was a Latino funeral home. So I'm not knowing anything. I just walk in there, and I said, I'm Gloria's sister. And I went in there, and I said, can I have a funeral for her? And he's like, ma'am, she's been froze. I said, but can I have a funeral for her? It's just me and my friend. That's all we had. And they said, we will give you a half hour with her. So they put her in that room for a half an hour with me. And I went in, and it was just devastating to see her, just knowing that she was in there all that time and nobody knew it, for one thing. And so what I did was I have a friend at church, and he plays guitar and sings. And I pulled him up on my phone singing, not live, but I pulled some of his music up of him singing. And me and my best friend had the funeral for her that day for a half an hour. And we played music in that room and had just a regular funeral, like there was 50, 60 people there. I just went ahead and preached her funeral and told her I loved her and everything. And it messed me up for a long time because I couldn't stop thinking about her face. I couldn't stop thinking about her, and what she had went through, and nobody knew it. But we got through it, and that's how I ended up in California. And the Uber driver knew what steps we were having to do and going through, and to get her death certificate and make sure that she wanted cremated and put out in the sea. So we had to do that, and have a captain to do that for. Just all this stuff we were going through in 11 days. We had to do it. And that's why he took us down through the ocean. And it was just so peaceful. He said, no problem. He said, no problem. I just wanted you, since you're here, you might as well see the ocean. So we did get to go to that candy shop and look around and stuff. That was the only thing we could do. But if I'd have known you, Colette, I would have called you and said, meet me somewhere. But I never know, what happens or where I'm going to be from one time or next. None of us do. But that's just my story from 2 years ago. All them memories popped up on my Facebook of us going down by the ocean and being in the candy shop. And now they told me that Queen Mary ship, that it was haunted now. Is that true? That's what someone told me there. Said, well, it's haunted now and people stay overnight in it. And I'm like, not me. Yes, I know you would have now. If I ever go back, I'm going to call you. But yeah, they said that was haunted. And I said, well, I won't be staying in it. I'll be going back to my motel room. So we lived in a motel for 11 days or more. And all my breakfast tickets they gave me, I would write scripture on the breakfast tickets. It seems like I kept getting scripture to get me through everything. And they're still in my Bible. So, yeah. Yeah, that's what they said. It's supposed to be haunted. And it's hard to believe. Yeah, I have a niece that lives down around there, and she loves Halloween. It's her favorite holiday. So she was the one telling me all about the hauntedness of it. So anyway, I better get off of here and let you guys go. But we'll see how this turns out tomorrow, and I'll bring it out, this homemade Velveeta cheese. God bless you all. And I'm just going to go and clean up my mess. And the guys are asleep. So I'll just sit out here and do whatever. So God bless you. I hope I get to see you again soon. And Colette, if I ever, and I have been to Texas too. I was down in, we went to the Dallas, Texas airport and stayed with a friend down there. Irving, down in Irving, Texas. That's where we went to stay. We stayed for a whole week and got catered to the whole week by our friend. So, find out where all you guys are. If I find myself there, I'll come cook you a meal. We'll cook together. So, God bless you, and I love you all, and I hope this turns out. So, we'll see how it does tomorrow.